question I get asked all the time is, how do you get your hatchling ball pythons to start eating? I honestly do rats. And when I tell people that, a lot of people seem shocked. I guess a lot of people offer mice first and then switch to rats because it's a lot easier and they tend to take them a lot better. So some people tend to think that I starve my ball pythons until they eat rats. That's not the case. I have worked out different methods and I found a way that works pretty well. And I'm going to explain that to you guys now, see if maybe that'll help you guys out. When I first set them up, I want to explain the setups because who knows, that might be important, I don't know. But as soon as they hatch, these guys just hatched a few days ago, they just go on wet paper towels, no water dish. There's water in the paper here. I mean, I soak it down pretty good, you can see. Then as they shed, I move them over into a container like this. It's Aspen, has a water dish. These guys started shedding yesterday. They still have one clutch mate that needs to shed, and once he sheds, he'll be in here. And once this last clutch mate over here sheds, it's a little calico. Once that last clutch mate sheds, they sit in here for 24 hours. And then I set them up in individual tubs. They're set up the same way like this. Just a water dish, Aspen, snake. That's it. Set them all up like that. I leave them alone for 3 days. I don't look at them, I don't check on them, I don't do anything. I just leave them alone. Let them settle in. Once 3 days is up is when I offer them a meal. Most people want to offer this. This is a little rat pinky. I do not offer rat pinkies. If I offered rat pinkies, none of these guys would ever eat. Well, you might get a few of them to eat, but it would take forever. That would be starving snakes. This is why you can see I don't starve my snakes. Ball pythons can handle a lot bigger meal than a lot of people assume they can. This is what I call a rat pup. I'm guessing it's a week old, if that. Yeah, it's probably about a week old. Maybe a little bit more, I don't know. But anyways, you guys might call them crawlers, fuzzies, I don't know. Everyone has a different word for them, so I just wanted to show you. See the size difference. You can also see this rat pup wants to move around a lot more. It's more enticing to the snake. And they could handle this just fine. I've fed everything from 35 grams on up a rat pup like this. Anything smaller than that, you might have some trouble. I've never had a hatchling hatch smaller than that. Smallest hatchling I've had hatch was 39 grams, so I haven't had trouble with that. But anyways, a rat pup. I throw that in there, and I'd say only 25% of the time I get them to eat. The last clutch I had was 7 snakes. I fed them all their first feeding. 2 of the 7 ate. The other 5 did not. So what I do is I don't give up and throw them a mouse or try something else. I wait another 3 days and I will throw them a rat pup again. On that last clutch, the 5 that didn't eat, the second time they all ate. And usually that's the case. I usually always get them to eat on the second offering. But I will go up to 2 or 3 weeks offering them every 3 days. Then after that's when I'll try a mouse. I've hatched over 60 hatchlings this year. And I've only had to use a mouse twice, and it was on 2 snakes from the same clutch that had issues hatching. They had hardened yolk, and I had to force feed them. They were tiny. So that could have been why they didn't take rats right away, but they're taking rats now. That's pretty much what I do. It's pretty easy, and you can see I don't starve my snakes. This is Justin Smith bought this guy from me. It's a little pastel calico male. He's a stunner. He's one of the better looking ones I've hatched, and he's ate 2 meals already in the past week, and he just started eating. He didn't take his first offering, but he took his second. And that's usually the case. They usually take on their second. I also don't handle my hatchlings a lot. The only time I really look at them is when I offer them food, check on their water, clean their tubs. But I leave them alone for the most part. I don't offer hides or anything. This room stays pretty quiet and dark most of the time. But that's pretty much what I do. It's just, I think a lot of it has to do with what you're offering The reason people will offer mice hoppers is because they're more active, more enticing to the snake. Little pinkies don't do nothing. They pretty much lay there and roll around. These little hoppers, they move around enough to entice the snake. I also, the first offering, I will leave it in overnight. This little hopper is not going to hurt your snake. And then next day I'll pull it out if they hadn't ate. But that's pretty much it. I hope it helps you. You have any questions, feel free to ask. Make sure you check out our website, passionreptiles.com. It needs updated, but it's there. I also have a website, reptilesforbabies.org. Make sure you check that out. We're also getting a Facebook page going on that. Future auctions coming. But anyways, that's how I get my hatchlings going.